One Piece. Now, when we last left off, the last chapter anyway, I'm just going to briefly talk about that. It was essentially the woman came out the woodwork and had that child with her, and Zoro got injured, and then in the end, he came back with some three-sword style Zoro epicness. I mean, this is probably one of the most hype well, that was anyway one of the most hype moments we've had of Zoro, where this is the first time that Zoro's been heavily injured, if I'm not mistaken, in New World. I mean, he's taken a couple of blows here or there, but I don't remember a time where Zoro was like, he really took an ass with him. Like, if anything, Zoro has more so just been kind of grinding around. Like, let's go back to the Pika fight. Let's be honest here with ourselves. The Pika fight, that was bad. It was just Zoro chopping at rocks, and it was just like, don't get me wrong, Zoro still looked cool, because Zoro, you give him a bunch of boulders to chop down, and he looks cool, right? But it was just kind of like, But then we get this moment right here, and I'm like, yo, he got injured, and I'm going to throw... As a matter of fact, I'll save my real interesting theory, which probably people are already calling it. I try my best to stay away from theories so people don't say, yo, you jack my shit. And they'll be like, oh, so I try my best to stay away from theories. But I do have a small theory regarding a character in this chapter, the latest chapters, latest two chapters. But yeah, it's definitely digging more into Zoro, continuously referencing the fact of his Wano heritage, that he looks like a Wano samurai, because, you know, at the end of the day, there's some ties there. We don't know everything there is to know about Zoro. This is going to be a very big piece. I think it's appropriate, and the reason Oda is making this so Zoro-centric, which of course is because Wano, his connections, whatever, but Zoro being the most popular character, Oda probably feels as though, or Zoro being one of the most popular. He's not the most popular, I don't think, based on the voting polls. I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me. But he's one of the most popular in the franchise, one of the people that everybody looks at as a cool guy. So why not give him his arc and make it the longest, or one of the longest arcs? Because according to what everyone's saying, Wano should be, like, if not the longest, one of the longest arcs. Why not give it to the most popular character, and at the same time make it a very deadly situation, to make it so that that popular character still has struggles to overcome? Because the day I see Zoro getting, like, smacked around and it's just, like, really pathetic at this point, I'll be like, whoa, I want to see Zoro at this point overcome and persevere. But at a certain point, I still feel as though they're not ready to fight the big dogs. So, of course, Zoro is going to take a whooping here or there. You know what I mean? But just gotta wait and see. So, again, the last chapter, it was with the woman on the bridge. Zoro took a wound or whatever. I'm going to be honest with you. This chapter right here, the big nugget, the big gold piece of it all, is of course the ending with, holy cow, that's Momo's sister, Momo's younger sister at that. So it's going to be interesting when she sees Momonosuke. She's like, whoa, what's going on? But okay, you know what? I don't want to save it till the end. I'm going to throw it out right here. My crazy theory, or it's not even crazy, I think it's very plausible, because at first I thought that woman was something. Yeah, I'll say I thought she was something, and then I thought she was another thing. But now I know what I think she is, or I know it sounds real confusing, but at first I was like, okay, this is a plan that her and the bridge swordsman had in order to rob people, get them whatever they got. Throw that in there. I'm like, okay, no. Oh, so we find out that's Momonosuke's sister. So for a second, I'm like, okay, so she's good. Then I go back to my original theory. I'm like, no, wait a minute. Who cares if she's Momonosuke's sister? Momonosuke is who he is because he's been away from all this. She might be corrupt. So my crazy theory is 100% that Momonosuke's sister is working with the bridge bandit, and possibly even to something even bigger. But Momonosuke's sister, that's going to give him a conflict, so to speak. It's kind of like Sai and his brother from Naruto. I think it was similar to that, but in essence of, this is going to be Momonosuke's challenge, understanding and accepting the fact that his sister is bad, that his sister's not a good person. And I think that, again, that goes along with why she would be helping this swordsman or this bandit from the bridge. That's kind of my whole take on that. Now let's start off from the beginning of the chapter. Kamazo or Zoro defeated Kamazo, and he's injured. I mean, that was just like a plot device character just to introduce this whole segment right here and kind of blindside people to what was really going on. That's how I feel. I feel as though that guy that injured Zoro was just to blindside us and segue us from the fact of that this woman actually tried to pull the wool over Zoro's eyes. You see in the chapter, Zoro's warrior pride, and that's something that it's a classic storytelling of when a man's warrior pride kind of blindsides him from what's really going on. Zoro's warrior pride is like, nah, that had nothing to do with you, which is, again, pulling us even further away from the truth of what Momonosuke's sister is. She's probably even working with the shogunate or Orochi and all of that, to be honest with you, because I see that being the bigger thing, because the whole chapter as well was pushing forth about Orochi's fear of the Kozuki clan. Zoro's warrior pride. Yeah, it's pulling him further from, and it's pulling the readers further from the fact that this woman is dirty. When he's like, that had nothing to do with you. It was all me. No, it was very, you're Zoro, okay? Some weak bandits on a bridge and a weak sword. Well, not weak, but some random swordsmen aren't going to take you down without some master plan of a woman that, again, you have such, because you see this goes into the internal conflict, and this is where we're starting to dive deeper. Zoro's internal conflict, remember his big, what is it? Kuina? What the little girl's name, the one that died, that was his counterpart that he fought. I believe it was Kuina. But anyway, because there's also Tashigi that, everybody says it's her. Well, more than likely that's her. That's whatever. But we're getting the internal conflicts of Zoro. Going back to my original point, getting internal conflicts of Zoro and him dealing with women and things of that nature. Because again, that's something that is integral to his character from when we found out of when the little girl passed away, it really messed with him. So again, it's pulling us further away from the fact that more than likely that's going to be the case. Again, that's my crazy theory. I could be totally off about Momonosuke's sister and she's just genuine. But if I initially thought that it was a plan and then Oda is dragging us further away from that idea, that's because that's probably the actual thing. And again, it goes with Zoro's character. Orochi's scared of the Kozuki clan. Again, we just briefly touched upon that. But Orochi being scared is clear as day because, however, which it starts to show that there's a mole in this whole thing. And I'm curious if there's a traitor amongst our group. I don't know who it would be. I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea who I would pinpoint as the traitor. But if there's somebody that's actually really giving all this information, or maybe we actually did see that now that I think about it. I want to say it was here chapter 2 before. Forgive me if I'm mistaken. But one of the things that kind of was the chuckle of the chapter for me. I ain't gonna lie. It was funny stuff, but it also showcases Law's dedication and his trust with his people. When Shinobu, I believe it was saying that, no, they ratted on us, Beppo and them. I was like, if you don't get out of here, trying to portray Beppo and them as they Treyway or something, like Beppo is 6'9", they Treyway or some shit. What would that make Law? DJ Academics? I don't know. Yeah, I know that's silly. That's just me off the cuff, just joking around. But yeah, Beppo and them didn't tell, I don't think. And if they did, I'd be shocked. But they're not a part of this whole big thing to really flip the script like that. They're just a small piece of the story. It'd be crazy, but Law knows his people, and they don't bend, they don't fold. It's it's the Heart Pirates, baby. I mean, for the most part, this chapter was basically all Zoro based, and it's getting even further into what this whole arc is going to be about. This is the Wano, the samurai stuff, and it's slowly piecing together and peeling back the layers of Zoro's character and really showing us who he is. And he's definitely, I don't want to say he's matured, because Zoro's kind of always been this way, again, because it goes back to his whole past with Kuina, again, I believe the name is, whatever. It goes back into what he went through with her and how it affected him, and now going through this arc, how he's going to change. And it's going to be interesting to see moving forward when Tashigi, because I'm imagining Tashigi is going to have something to do with this. Smokers, what is she to Smoker at this point? One of the people in Smoker's group. Is she going to show up here? When's the last time we even heard of what those particular people are doing? Because if they show up, even if it's towards the end of the arc, and make a big, shocking revelation, that will be great. And that also would add even further, because I think if One Piece is going to end at some given point, Oda's steadily heading towards it. If he's going to tie up all loose ends, this arc is to do it. So if Tashigi does have something to do with Kuina, if she is her or whatever, regardless of what her connection to Zoro is, then she'll be involved in this, unless her whole face and her looking similar to this little girl from his past was just a plot device, in a sense, to keep pushing Zoro forward. And she really doesn't have anything to do with who that little girl was. And that's all going into that whole, the connection, the very legitimate theory that Tashigi and Kuina are the same person, which I wouldn't be surprised. Again, that's a great plot twist from Oda. Maybe us seasoned vets of One Piece that we know and we read a whole bunch of manga might be like, I don't, what I'm saying, we already know this, but little kids ain't gonna, little kids ain't gonna catch on to that. And it's a great twist nonetheless. And if it's done very well, regardless, even if I seen it coming, I can appreciate it. With all that being said, again, the big twist was, hey, this is Momonosuke's sister. It's not no coincidence that she ran into Zoro. I wouldn't be surprised if she knows more than she's letting on, and she knows exactly who Zoro is and what he's up to, or it's, again, very simple that she's a petty criminal with that swordsman from the bridge. It's just a matter of how rotten she is. Is she doing something with the government, or is it just with that swordsman and they just robbing people? But regardless, that's where I see it going. All that, again, chapter, pretty dope chapter. Not the greatest in the world. It was a good chapter nonetheless. I want to say I'd give it a solid about 7.5. I think the plot twist at the end would lead it towards, if I was to give it to an 8, it would be that. But it was a lot of context mainly, and just kind of pieces building, you know what I'm saying? So I'd say about 7 to a 7.5 at best for the chapter. But One Piece still steadily getting even more interesting. And Zoro fans, this is the arc. If you're a Zoro fan, enjoy every single chapter you're getting out of Wano, because remember, One Piece will end some point. And if Oda's wrapping everything up as he's going along, and this is the wrap up for Zoro, enjoy these chapters, because after this, we probably won't, we'll still get epic Zoro moments, but it ain't gonna be this Zoro centric. And this is the time to rejoice if you stuck around this long. Not stuck around, because One Piece has been amazing, but if you've been along for the ride this long and you love Zoro, enjoy these chapters. Like this one in particular, it was a chill chapter, cool chapter, but nonetheless integral to Zoro's character, his development, and where he's going moving forward in the story. I guess I got a couple of questions to ask. For starters, I just got so many right now in my mind. I guess let's go with the whole Tashigi and Kuina situation. Do you guys think that they're the same people, or was that just more so to push Zoro's character, the fact that she looks like the little girl from his past? Like, the metaphor is cool and all, but based on how Oda's done some things, like the Sabo thing, it felt so obvious, and it turned out to be, it felt so obvious that he was still alive. I remember 1 year to the date that Sabo was revealed to be alive, I had made a theory video saying, yo, he's alive, and he's so on and so forth. So sometimes the obvious things could be, but it could also show Oda's growth as a writer and change as a writer, the growth, and he say, hold on, everything isn't always what it seems. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like I guess taking a page out of Teen Titans, the good Teen Titan, not Teen Titans Go, the one that we watched when we was younger. Anybody that is, my age group that watched the Teen Titans on TV, shit, and even young kids watch that shit is still on there. What am I talking about? But the whole Beast Boy episode about Terra coming back, the very last episode, it could be the case as well. It could be that it's just a metaphor, but people change, things change, and what they see may not always be the case. Kuina's death was just too fishy. It was something there. There was something political about it, I would say. It wasn't just a mistake. I think Tashigi is her, but she's intentionally hiding it from Zoro because she sees that his guilt is partially what's driving him to get stronger, and she wants to see him reach his peak. That would be a nice twist. I mean, it's not a twist, but I guess it's a twist, because most people aren't even thinking about Kuina like that, except really hardcore One Piece fans like us that are reading it every week. Like, a lot of people, they just read One Piece, especially in Japan, I'd imagine they just grab the volumes here and there once they get older, and they're not grabbing Shonen Jump every week. You don't think it's her because she'd recognize Zoro, but what about if she's had just, look at what happened to Sabo. Sabo lost his memory. Sabo, whatchamacallit, like, if you think about it, it would be the exact almost same case as like the Sabo thing. But if Oda did the reverse, I think that would be better and show his creativity and thinking outside the box as a writer, instead of doing the same exact thing over again, where, or it could hint at that, or maybe that's how he's playing us to make it seem like, yo, it's the same thing as the Sabo situation. Psych, it's about growth and a metaphor. So gonna be interesting to see. And you guys' overall thoughts on the One Piece chapter, what was it, 938, Zoro, baby, Wano, greatness. That's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, hit the bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my social media, links in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day. Can't forget the music, boy. So now it's whatever. One day I'll be your favorite for never. No matter how you get it done.